Amazonia is deservedly considered one of the most beautiful and at the same time dangerous places on the planet. After all, it's here that dangerous black alligators, smart ants for which there are no obstacles, and even sharks can be found. Let's take a look at them and more. In this episode, I'll show you the monsters of the Amazon, which were caught on camera. A young man who likes to sail up rather dangerous places chose the great Amazon River as the next place of his trip. His journey began quite calmly, nothing portended trouble, as suddenly, from nowhere, his transport was attacked by a black caiman. This alligator was waiting in ambush, exactly as it always does, and nearly turned over the boat in the blink of an eye. Luckily for the man, he wasn't far from some tree, which helped him keep afloat. I think if the guy had been underwater, his life would have been over. However, in this story, the predator was left without lunch, and the man got the very emotions for which he travels to such dangerous places. Would you like to sail up the Amazon River after this? Even with instructors, personally, my desire somehow abruptly decreased. By the way, we skipped the black caiman topic. Let me tell you some interesting facts about it. This giant is one of the largest modern reptiles, as well as the largest predator of the Amazon basin, and the third largest animal in South America. Its size is about 13 feet. These creatures got their name for their unique color, which is quite logical. Despite this, the colors of black caimans can range from dark gray to partially black. Young individuals often have a brighter color, which becomes darker over time. A wide muzzle with special valves that close the nostrils and give the caiman the opportunity to stay underwater for a long time successfully helps them to sit in ambush, just like in the video. They also have impressive swimming skills, allowing them to maneuver and hunt in an aquatic environment no worse than powerful marine predators. For this reason, although caimans don't mind eating land creatures, their diet is based on fish. Their huge jaws and razor-sharp teeth do not give any of their enemies a chance for survival if they get within reach of a black caiman. Lanternfly. Hit the like button if you too thought that butterflies are not scary, and that even the most unremarkable coloration does not make these wonderful creatures an object of fear. But this is not the case. You just haven't seen the lanternfly yet. It's a giant creature with a wingspan of up to 6 inches. It's common in the rainforests of Mexico, as well as Central and South America. Along with wings, this creature is characterized by its unusual head, which resembles either some large nut or a snake. Do you think all the knowledge of the world is stored in this head and this butterfly is very smart? Unfortunately, this is not the case. It can't be called a walking encyclopedia at all. It needs such a head for only a few things. Firstly, the insect scares predators and tourists with it, and secondly, with its head, the lanternfly successfully beats against trees and in such an unusual way communicates with its congeners. The sound resonating on the empty head turns out to be quite booming and loud. Nature can come up with so many things. The only benefit that the lanternfly brings us is the legend that's arisen based on its story. The locals are convinced that this overgrown butterfly is highly poisonous. As soon as it touches a human, they're immediately doomed to death. But don't be upset ahead of time. There's an antidote. It's to immediately find a soulmate, take them to a cozy place, and make love. Residents of country where the lanternfly lives are convinced that this is the only way to stay alive. The next creature that people have managed to catch is the red-eye piranha, a species of large and predatory ray-finned fish that lives in the Amazon River. These fish from horror movies reach 16 inches in length and can weigh up to 7 pounds. They have a unique body shape. It's thickened in front and sharper in the back. However, in an ordinary life, it doesn't matter. Whatever its body is, it's still a piranha, which means its neighbors are unlucky. Thanks to its incredibly sharp teeth, combined with very powerful jaws, the red-eye piranha does not leave a chance to its opponents caught within its visual range. It's important to note that the red-eye piranha is not an aggressive species towards humans and usually attacks only in case of threat or emergency. We can only hope that this extreme necessity will never come because red-eye piranhas often gather in shoals, successfully communicating with their congeners. By the way, they communicate in different ways. One of the latest methods that fishermen and scientists have discovered is a strange barking or something very similar to it. Little was known about these sounds except that there are 3 of them and each of them is used by the piranhas in a specific situation. Arapaima. I don't know how, but the man in this video managed to catch an arapaima with his own hands and without anybody else's help. Why am I so surprised? Well, you're about to find it out. Arapaima is one of the largest freshwater fish in the world. Its length is usually up to 6.5 feet, but according to unconfirmed data, people encountered individuals with a length of 15 feet, weighing 440 pounds. Its body is elongated, squeezed from the sides, covered with very large relief scales. The special structure of the fins makes it a real sprinter, which is also incredibly strong. Holding arapaima with your own hands is incredibly difficult. It's not uncommon for even experienced fishermen to lose their strength and let go of this legendary prey. Among the lovers of fishing, there's even a challenge to catch this water inhabitant. If it's caught, you're a successful fisherman with a great future. Otherwise, you're an ordinary amateur who still has a lot to learn. And no matter how people tried to catch this fish, they rarely ever succeeded. It's not even afraid of air. Because of the unique structure of the lungs, it can spend some time on land, save its strength, and then break free from human hands and jump back into the water. Bull shark. The bull shark is a member of the Big Three, which, in addition to it, includes the great white shark and the tiger shark. In addition to its impressive size, this predator is characterized by very powerful jaws. The combination of hunting skills inspired writer Peter Benchley to create the novel Jaws, based on which the cult movie was later made. Despite this, the speed of the bull shark is not to be envied. It's relatively slow, which is why it's quite possible to hide from it in an open space. However, if a bull shark lurks somewhere, then sorry, there will be almost no chance of survival. A cute sense of smell gives this shark in muddy rivers almost perfect eyesight and a sense of the situation. At the same time, it has special sensors on its snout called ampullae of Lorenzini, which are able to detect even the weakest electric field created by other creatures. Eceton burchelli army ants. These ants are constantly on the move and never stay in one place for long. Because of this, the locals are very afraid of them. You never know where they might end up the next day. The paths of these insects often lie through entire human settlements, which may well cause those to leave their homes or move out of them for a while. However, don't think that these are some sort of Terminator ants that can deal with anyone. People who leave their homes do so only for their own peace of mind, although they may well stay in them. Yes, multiple bites can cause anaphylactic shock for people with allergies, but army ants never attack first. They have other thoughts and completely different ideas altogether. They follow a certain order while moving. Inside the colony, there are females and worker ants carrying larvae, and at the sides of the colony, they're guarded by soldier ants with huge, curved mandibles. Such a trek lasts about 2 weeks. During the journey, they find enough food to survive for a while, then they settle down near trees, enjoy their food and rest, and then continue their trek again. And it doesn't matter to them what will be on their way. Even if a river's there, they won't care. It has long been known that these adventurers are even ready to build a bridge of their congeners, along which they'll cross to the other side. And if the problem is something else, such as a hole, they'll just temporarily fill it with the right-sized worker ants. In short, these creatures always have everything thought out. But besides the usual predators in the Amazon jungle, one can also encounter unexplained and mysterious creatures that no one would believe if they weren't caught on camera. A picture to remember. British tourists came to the Amazonia and decided to capture this momentous event. The best way to do this, of course, was to take a picture, so they armed themselves with their cameras and took a picture. They were really surprised when they began to review the footage they had taken. In one of the villages, right behind the backs of people, somewhere in the distance in the bushes, presumably alien object was seen. The creature really looked like an alien because otherwise it was simply not possible to explain its appearance there. The video was given to a UFOologist who was a former NASA employee. The man also turned out to be an adherent of the version that people filmed a classic alien. Meanwhile, there's still a lot of skeptics who either believe in the fake and hoax or that it was one of the locals who decided to prank the people. But does every local have an alien costume on hand to prank some visitors and tourists with? Doesn't that seem strange to you? Mysterious tribe. For security reasons, the following footage, although it was taken in 2017, was not made public until a year later. The National Indigenous People Foundation wanted to get a closer look at the deforestation. People were interested in the area, and all they wanted to do was explore it. But if you look a little better, the story takes on an entirely different character. It turns out that in addition to the deforestation, so interesting to scientists, there were many members of an ancient tribe in the footage. Also, there you can see their unusual tools along with wooden canoes. researchers believe that these people are not even aware of the civilization that's around them. Their way of life looks a lot like that of a typical primitive tribe. Homemade tools, hunter-gatherer culture, living in small communities, and no one is going to interfere with them, of course. Rather, on the contrary, people find their habitat in order to protect the tribe from outsiders. The largest group of turtles in the world. Turtles do not waste any time and hatch en masse right in front of the others. Not embarrassed by anyone. This happens in the western Amazon region. The video, which was filmed by a drone, shows the baby giant South American river turtles emerging from the sand, crawling along the shore and disappearing into the water. Now they're extremely abundant and everything looks insanely rosy. But a few decades ago, the situation was much sadder. Because of the increased demand for their eggs, people hunted the turtles and brought these reptiles to the brink of extinction. Fortunately, since these creatures play an important role in the natural ecosystem, many organizations quickly rushed in to help the reptiles and corrected their situation. Now they can safely develop and weigh up to 200 pounds, growing 3.2 feet in length. This, by the way, makes the giant South American river turtles one of the largest reptiles in South America. And what we've seen all this time on video is nothing more than members of the species gathering to lay their eggs in the sun-heated sand. Such beaches are regularly patrolled by conservationists until all the turtles hatch to the last and reach the water. I think I know a creature that would give anything for the chance to be among these hatching turtles. And I'm not talking about an inveterate poacher. I'm talking about another bloodthirsty inhabitant of these territories, the anaconda. Yes, the largest snake in the world by length-weight ratio. The average length of adults is 13 feet, but there are people who claim to encounter 36-foot representatives of the species. It's up to you to believe it or not. But so far, no one has presented any evidence of such encounters. Even this huge creature that was captured on camera doesn't have such an impressive size, though it seems to be incredibly large, doesn't it? The anaconda has a patronizing green coloration with large brown spots. All this helps it to hide in muddy water or among the leaves. When a body of water dries up, it moves into neighboring bodies of water or goes downstream. And during droughts, it burrows into the silt and may remain in a state of reduced activity until the rainy season arrives. This time can be considered a full-fledged respite for the rest of the Amazon region, as this snake is capable to deal with almost any local creatures, no matter how large they may be. I was about to finish the anaconda topic when I suddenly came across this video. What do you think? Is it credible, or is it a very obvious fake? On the one hand, such a large snake could exist in the past when there was a different level of oxygen and stuff, but for it to inhabit today and also in the open terrain right in front of people sounds a little too strange to me. Personally, I'm too confused by the size of this giant. And what do you say? Maybe it's still an anaconda mutant or some other huge snake? Write in the comments. Looking at all these creatures, one can only ask one question. What kind of place Amazonia is? I suggest we waste no time and get to know it a little better. Let's go! What is the Amazon? So let's start with something basic and simple. The Amazon is the longest river, holding about 20% of the world's fresh water. Because it's so large, it's commonly said that you can explore the Amazon endlessly, but you'll never fully explore it. No one can tell you exactly why the river and the area as a whole are called that, but I can tell you about an interesting theory. It's said that in the past, there was a fierce battle between the Spaniards and the Native American tribes in this area. The first were struck by the warlike women of the Native Americans, and they named the river after them. If some of you still have no idea how huge this river is, its delta has an area of over 38,610 square miles, with a maximum width of 202 miles. Flora and fauna. As you've seen today, this place is teeming with something strange and inexplicable. Of course, first of all, this applies to the flora and fauna of the Amazon region. The plants and animals that can be found here constitute a huge genetic pool, without exaggeration. Here you can find more than 100 different species of mammals, 400 species of birds, insects, invertebrates, flowers, trees, in general, everything you can think of. All the most unusual and uncommon surrounds the Amazon region from all sides. Probably the reason for this is rather unusual climatic conditions. It's unbearably hot and extremely humid at the same time here. Even at night, the temperature is unlikely to fall below 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It's here, for example, that you can find mahogany, rubber tree, and cocoa tree, as well as unique silk cotton, the fruit of which is surprisingly similar to the cotton fiber. In addition, the water lily deserves special attention since it can even hold a human weight. Yeah, it's more than possible. One of the main inhabitants of this area, which is almost always encountered by tourists, is the capybara. This rodent is impressive in size and looks looks a lot like a guinea pig. This miracle of nature weighs about 110 pounds. In general, the inhabitants of the Amazon region are like a special kind of art, especially when it comes to dangerous inhabitants. Unfortunately, or fortunately, there are a lot of them here. They're for every taste. The most dangerous is the bull shark, which weighs more than 880 pounds and reaches 13 feet in length, as well as piranhas. These toothy fish can nibble a carcass down to the skeleton in just a few seconds. This also includes the caiman, a genus of alligator that has 1 million teeth and 1 trillion ways to hunt, which only the lucky ones can avoid, figuratively. Green hell. This was the alternative name used by locals in ancient times. Many expeditions were sent to find lost cities on the banks of the river. Some of them ended tragically. The impenetrable jungle was to blame. Moreover, people used to believe that mysterious civilized cities exist in this area, or rather on its banks. During excavations, it was possible to find mounds with archaeological treasures. Indeed, all these finds suggest that there were large settlements in these places, but almost nothing is known about their territory. However, what many people know about is the place where the Rio Negro River flows into the Amazon. It's unique in that the water of the Amazon is brown, while the other river is clear blue. Before merging, waters of different colors flow next to each other for 7 miles, which can't fail to amaze and delight the tourists who come here. I think you now understand why African bullfrogs are extremely dangerous. They could well be called the most dangerous frogs on the planet, at least for animals, but they're still not as dangerous to humans as the next animal of the episode, which is distinguished by its incredible brightness. This is the golden poison frog. It's much smaller than the African bullfrog. It's only a couple of centimeters in length. Of course, it won't eat a snake, bat, or other large animal, but it can easily kill them all with just a touch. Same's true of humans. The golden poison frog is the most poisonous frog on the planet, as well as one of the most poisonous animals on Earth in general. Poisonousness is indicated by the bright yellow color of the frog, so if you see one in the wild, do not come close. The poison of the golden frog is on its body, not in its teeth. If a person places a golden poison frog on their skin, they'll get severe poisoning, which can be fatal. These frogs contain batrachotoxin, the lethal dose of which for humans is only 2 micrograms, while just one individual can contain up to 1 milligram of poison. It turns out that in theory, the poison of a single golden poison frog could kill 500 people. This compares with the rates of the most venomous snakes in the world, such as the inland taipan. Interestingly, these frogs get their poison from nature by feeding on certain insects. If you isolate the golden poison frog from its natural habitat, it will never develop the poison and will be a perfectly normal frog. Exactly the same mechanism applies to other poison dart frogs, a family of amphibians to which the golden poison frog itself belongs. It can be called the leader of poison dart frogs, but other brightly colored frogs are also dangerous for both humans and animals. For example, the blue poison dart frog is dangerous. It's another beautiful frog. The glands of the blue poison dart frog secrete mucus containing a potent poison. Its toxicity is enough to finish off even large natural enemies. Although the poison of the blue poison dart frog is not as powerful as that of the golden poison frog, in theory it can finish off a human. And here is the lovely poison frog. Yes, that's its scientific name. It's fair enough in appearance. This amphibian is indeed lovely, mesmerizing and enchanting with its stunning black coloration and multicolored stripes. But the poison of this lovely creature is powerful. However, it's not as toxic as that of many other poison dart frogs. At the same time, it provides the amphibian with reliable protection against natural enemies. Now let's take a look at the strawberry poison frog. This bright red guy with spots on its back is insanely beautiful, but you should only admire it from a distance. The amphibian is extremely poisonous. When it comes into contact with human skin, the toxins cause severe chemical burns and other health problems. What's interesting, the poison of strawberry poison frog has no effect on grass snakes, so these reptiles are not afraid of the bright frogs. By the way, I forgot to tell you that poison dart frogs live in South and Central America. Keep that in mind if you live or find yourself in these parts of the world. However, bright and poisonous frogs live in other places as well, for example, Madagascar. There you can come across mantellas, motley amphibians that are similar to poison dart frogs. Mantellas get their poison by eating toxic insects. Over time, they produce a skin toxin that protects the frogs from predators and can harm a person who accidentally picks up a mantella. Giant leaf frog. And this creature already looks like a typical frog, no yellow or red hues or gigantic size, despite the name, just a slim figure and strict green color. Everything's just right. Don't mistake the giant leaf frog for a common frog in the wild because this individual is poisonous. It's not as deadly as the golden poison frog, but it can cause serious problems. Putting its secretions on the skin is not fatal, but it can provoke gastrointestinal upset. But more seriously, the poison of this amphibian causes hallucinations that can drive you crazy. Many people, however, take advantage of it. The giant leaf frog lives in the Amazon region, where many tribes live. The Aborigines use the poison of this frog in the initiation rites of young tribe members, in the treatment of diseases, as well as to enter a special trance. There aren't many dangerous frogs in the world, so I suggest we change the subject a bit. And since we're talking about amphibians today, why not take a look at other dangerous amphibians? Keep watching to see dangerous and creepy toads, as well as a toxic newt. Cane toad. The cane toad is one of the largest amphibians on the planet and the second largest toad in the world, second only to the Blomberg's toad. It weighs more than 2.2 pounds and grows to more than 8 inches in length. The cane toad skillfully uses its size and willingly deals with many animals, mostly with mice. The cane toad devours them quickly, leaving them no chance of escape. In addition, like other toads and frogs, it eats insects. Besides, the creature's also poisonous. When the toad is disturbed, its glands secrete a toxic secretion, which it can shoot at a distance of up to 12 inches. Toxins are dangerous to many animals and even humans. There have been cases where people have been poisoned by eating cane toads. Colorado river toad. This toad is equipped with similar toxins. Despite its name, the Colorado river toad lives not only in Colorado but also in the southwestern United States in general, as well as in northern Mexico. It is, by the way, the largest toad in the United States. The poisonous secrete of the toad is similar in effect to that of some illegal substances. Native Americans sometimes use it to enter a trance, so the Colorado river toad is not as dangerous to humans, but it is dangerous to dogs. There have been known cases of paralysis or even death of dogs attacked by Colorado river toads. Rough-skinned newt. Let's take our minds off toads and frogs and take a last look at this newt. The rough-skinned newt inhabits the west coast of the United States and Canada from California to southern Alaska. On the outside, it looks like the most ordinary newt, but inside it's a whole storehouse of toxins. This tiny creature, which is only 6 to 8 inches long, produces tetrodotoxin, an extremely dangerous poison. One individual contains enough poison to kill 25,000 mice. This newt is also dangerous for a person who may die if the poison gets on the mucous membrane. Fortunately, the amphibian is not aggressive and will not provoke a conflict. The newt warns about its poisonous nature by arching its back and curling its tail in a ring and tucking it to its head, so that its bright yellow belly becomes clearly visible. If the newt behaves in such a way, it's better to move away from it. However, the poison is dangerous only when in contact with mucous membranes, as I said. Therefore, if you're not going to take a rough-skinned newt with cut hands or swallow it, you have nothing to fear. That's it for today. What from this episode impressed you the most? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for watching.